Hello, hello. We should be live after 20 minutes of struggling. And to be honest, we didn't give up and we managed to make it work. So, excuses for the delay. And I guess we should not lose any time. I'm very eager to introduce Carla Bugosen. Carla is a business administrator with more than 7 years of professional experience in human resources at the biggest economic groups in Peru. So she has quite of corporate experience. So you could ask any questions related to that. Carla is currently pursuing a second degree in psychology in Spain, in our favorite Granada. So you could ask questions in Spanish as well, and working remote as a senior college counselor. So, Carla, now it's time to give you the word, give you the floor, because the topic for today is quite interesting, and you have approached it in a very interesting way, I believe. It is about most demanded competences. So, Carla, thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for the patience while we were solving the technical issues.
Thank you so much, Andre, and thank you so much, Leader Academy, for this opportunity. I'm really eager here to help you to develop these competences that are so important nowadays. So now we'll have to see where are we standing in this complex world and what the world is demanding us nowadays. So the futurist James Cascio um, has described the word as bunny. What does these letters mean? First, we've got the B. The B means that we're in a brittle world. It is a word that it is unstable, which means that our jobs are no longer permanent. The world is changing really fast, and the world is really fragile. So this demands new competences in order to adapt ourselves to what's happening here. We have the example of COVID-19 that changed the world completely. And now you can see how there are different political situations around the world that are making it more fragile. So now we have the letter A. The letter A stands for anxious. What does it mean? Now in the 21st century, we have the fear of missing something. We are on the phones all the time, checking the messages. We are looking for any news. So we have now that sense of urgency and that we have to make quick decisions in order to face all these events that they are coming. As brutal as the word it is, we are expecting something to happen, so if something happens, we need to take action immediately. Also, there is N for nonlinear. What does it mean? That events here, what's happening, are really disconnected and they're really disproportional. What does this mean? That there is not a clear relationship between a cause and a consequence. If you make an action, you don't know after what time the consequence is going to happen. Also, what we need to know is that small decisions can have huge consequences. And the last letter stands for I, of incomprehensible. It's like, how did this happen? How did it? How did we get to here? Where is the answer for this? We have no answers. And that's the world we are living nowadays. It is a bunny world. It is brittle, it is anxious, it is non-linear, and it is incomprehensible. So, in relationship to the context nowadays, I'm going to talk to you about the competences that it's necessary to develop, even if you're a human resources specialist, even if you're a specialist in finance, or if you're a psychology, or any profession you have now. I'm going to start about the lifelong learning and diversified knowledge. First of all, you have to keep updated. knowledge grows, it changes. You have to diversify your knowledge. And I'm glad to tell you one of my experiences in these corporations. I was working at the selection team, recruiting and selection. And as you can tell, there are a lot of people, you have a lot of candidates, the, and everything moves so fast, and you have to be quick when you are doing your processes, and you have to improve them. So at that time, I have no idea about technology, about AI, about intelligence, artificial intelligence. So what we did as a team was having the IT team as an ally, and we started looking for platforms to automate the process, the selection process. And I learned a lot about technology, about platforms, about how the platform can read the experience through the CV, through a digital CV, and really sum up your work to the strategic one. So if you keep updated about how to do your selection processes, that you can really use a platform, there are really available platforms available to automate processes, you can make a better job, and you can improve a process. If you open your mind, if you have a research about what's the world offering, not only in your country, but if you look outside your country, you can really see a lot of different knowledge that will add value to your job. Also, you must know what's the company's purpose, its vision, its mission, what's your role, what's the structure of your company. When I used to work at one of the best beauty companies in Peru, I was human resources business partner, and I have to really give these services to the sales force. But in order to me to give like talent development to this sales force, I have to go to the field to see their job, how they are connected into the structure, how they connect to the business objective, to the business purpose. So I have to see how they were developing their job. And then I went to the commercial team in order to see how their proposition value about the commissions, how they register them, how it is connected to the sales team, to the commercial team, in order to help them. So in order to do your job, you need to know about sales, you need to know about commissions, you need to know about technology, you need to know how all of this is connected in order to see the big picture. And this is a lifelong learning. I mean, before, it's like few years before you make your selection processes at Excel, and now it's not like that. Now there are platforms that are connected to other of the company services. So it's really important for you to continue learning day by day and to have a diversified knowledge. You need to know how to budget, you need to know a bit of sales, a bit of marketing, a bit of finance, in order to figure out the big picture, because you respond to the company's purpose and to the company's objective. Next, it is communication at all levels. Do you know how to communicate with manager, with your colleagues? Or sometimes are you listening to understand, to really understand what they're telling you, or you're listening to decide if you agree or you disagree? So sometimes we want to do our job best the best as possible you can, but sometimes as we want to really defend our point of view, we listen the other person in order to respond, to give an answer, but not really to understand what they are telling you. And in order to learn, you need to understand the other person. Also, you need to know your audience and and their role. If you're going to talk to a manager, I mean, there are different manager profiles. So you need to know how is the manager, but as a person, in order to get to approach him the best way. Is this a person that wants you to go to the point, or he wants more details, or he really likes a presentation? So it's like you need to know who are you talking to. There are a lot of times that in companies the problem is how you communicate to others. And really, if you listen to understand, if you know the person you're talking to, then you can get to an agreement, and then you can get to create value to the company. Also, you need not to assume. You never assume what a person wanted to tell you. You need also to be clear on your communication. You need to be concise and to be deadline driven. All of what happens, all the complications that may happen at the office is because of communication. Have you been clear in your communication? Have you understood what the other person needs? Do you know the person you are talking to and what's important to him? Because every person has a different goal in the company. So you need to know what's important to them, also to communicate your point of view and to understand them. This is not a fight, this is not a competition. You need to collaborate. So let's get into teamwork and networking. We all know that we need to know which is the goal, which are the rules, what do you expect, and you have to know the mission or purpose. You also have to know each other's strength and understand the group dynamic. If there is a teamwork, it's because everybody is needed to do the job. Everybody has value, is valuable to this job. So you have to focus on what you are good, on what's your role there. But also, a group needs an energizing direction, and you have to follow that energy. A company has its purpose, and that's the energy that you have to follow, and that's what you need to also communicate to others in order to go into the same direction. We have to know that there is a difference between cooperation and collaboration. If you cooperation is not everything, just doing my job with this team. No, in order to connect with the other people and really add value to the job, you have to collaborate. You have to know and understand which are the roles, which are the goals. Because it's like knowledge is only one, a company's purpose is only one, and a company's objective is only one. But it is composed by different fields that needs to work together in order to get there. This is not a competition. And also you need to know when it's necessary for you to follow and what is necessary to raise your hand and lead the team. The other competence that is truly important is emotional intelligence. Okay, in this field, we really have a lot to tell. Emotional intelligence have a lot of characteristics, but the most important here, and I want to go through detail, is on how to connect with people. First of all, what do you need to avoid? Avoid judgment, avoid criticizing, avoid avoid the negative talk about others, and avoid imposing your criteria. I know that each team has also their objectives, each team has their point of view. Not only each team, but each person sees the world in a different way. They they have different styles, different points of view. But if you really, and now here you can see how competences are connected. If you really listen to people, then you can learn and you can acquire like new points of view, and then your judgment will low down, your criticizing will low down if you are open to hear. So this is the first thing you should know in order to connect to others. Also, what's important here, you need to be kind, you need to smile, and you need to help. What do I mean about this? When you are kind, when you smile, and when you help others, you are helping, you are making these hormones happiness to appear in your, well, in yourself and into others, because they feel that they are being understood by you. So if a person feels that they are being listened, that you smile to them, that you care about them, they are going to have this feeling of empathy, and they are going to collaborate and engage more. So how you do this, you have to show interest and that you care about the rest. I mean, for example, if someone is into a team and says, my kid has a flu and he's really not good, I'm really worried about him, then you can make some comments about how he can get better. The other day you can ask about the kid, how he's going, and then you're going to connect with this person. Sometimes people say, okay, this is personal and this is something about my job, but the truth is that when you connect with the other person, when you show interest about what's happened to them, you connect better and you can create better things at job. You can also know more about their personal or professional life. You can talk about a sport that you both like, or a theater show, or maybe television or a show you like. And that's when conversation starts going on, and that's when you get really happy, and that's when you get into the job, and you can create more things because you are connected to the other person. You inspire each other. And also, you can take advantage of common interests. You can bond with this person doing activities in common, or trying new food, or trying any other activity. So, connection is really important because one person feels that you care about him, and then you feel that they're having empathy for you, so you can collaborate better. When you look at someone's eyes and you see that he's understanding you, there is more conversation, there is more analysis, and then is when you co-create together and make a team together. So the other competence is critical thinking. What's going on in the world? As the world is changing so fast, and the world is anxious. Sometimes we need quick decisions. And it's true, we need to make quick decisions, but it doesn't mean that we are not going to apply like the critical thinking. And there are some steps you should consider in order to solve a problem. First of all, we have to see which is the problem and to review the issue. Sometimes we think that the problem is A, but then you analyze it, you think about it, and the problem was B. So if you go too fast, you're not going to identify which is the problem. So if you don't identify which is the problem, how are you going to solve it? So you have to first sit and think. I remember when I was at university long ago studying business, and anytime I was going to do an exam, the teacher said, okay, stop. The first 15 minutes of the exam, I don't want you to write any word. I want you to think, to read what I'm asking to you, and to really think what I am asking. And then you can start producing and working into it. So that is critical thinking. First of all, consider the problem, which is the issue. You have to really analyze which is really the problem. After that, you will keep an eye into the facts, analyze the data, get in order or what you have to see in order to get the general picture, because a problem is always connected. Maybe it's a detail inside something bigger. So you just have to be structured in order to analyze which are the facts you need to consider. And when you have all this data gathered, you have all these facts, you have to keep an open mind and see what is the data telling you. I mean, what is telling you all the facts? What is telling you the data? What is telling you the story? You have to connect all the information. It may be numbers, it may be situations that happen, and to analyze really what is really happening. And after that, after you have clear, like you have really clear connected all the points, because you have to really, it's like you have a map and you are connecting, okay, this is this continent, this is this other continent formed by these countries. Once you have like structure and you have connected all the dots, then you need to really tell what the data is telling you. You have to interpret the facts, and then you find a solution, but it has to go along with the time you have to get the answer by. And then you have to establish some objectives, which is going to be the budget, in order to have a solution. Well, this can apply to a solution or to a project, but you have to always keep in mind which is the objective, what are you looking for, what is this going to solve, what is going to be the value of this, and then present a solution in a way that everybody can understand. So, if we move to productivity, this is really something that is going to be really difficult nowadays with all that technology we have, with all the applications. We've got our email notifications, we have the WhatsApp, we have the Instagram, we've got the job mail, we have the social media, the job social media. So it's difficult for people to keep the productivity because we have too much distractions and there is too much information. But what can you do and what can you start from? First of all, you have to focus on one activity at the same time. There are a lot of studies telling that multitasking is not productive at all, because you are dividing your attention into different activities and you cannot make that switch so automatic, and that is not really productive. You can even Google it about multitasking and see all the different scientific studies that are against it. You have to focus on one activity at the same time, first of all. Second, no notifications at all. You cannot be working on something, and if you see a notification, email notification, WhatsApp notification, or whatever notification, you cannot turn them, and you can turn and see if which is the mail, which is the message. No, you have to disable when you are working on something that you really need critical thinking, and you need to be fast, as now you know how the word it is. You just disable notifications and check your mail or check the messages after 1 hour, after 2 hours, the time you decide, maybe by the morning, afternoon, and then at night. That's really a way to be productive. Also, don't confuse it with working non-stop. What I mean with this is that try to work without, if you work non-stop, you will really get overwhelmed and you will be no productive at all, and you will not be able to really do anything else during the day. So try to work, there is a technique that is the Pomodoro. Try to work 25 minutes non-stop, and then take 5 minutes breaks. And this is also linked to how you learn and how your memory works. It is proven by studies that when you study with living times between each session, and it also applies for working. If you work and then you leave spaces between one and another, you will be able to process better the information and to understand it better, to refresh it, and to have new ideas. Also, it is important to define deadlines every for every activity, because the world moves fast. So, okay, you have to be productive, you have to make some stops, some breaks, but don't forget to um, to visualize the deadline you have for every project. And it is also important to identify and manage your energy. What happens to a lot of people, that when they are tired, they start doing what most energy requires. So they started by not doing anything at all, because you have no energy. If you have no energy, you cannot think. But when they have energy, I mean, they start doing things that are really, they don't really need that amount of energy. For example, I have a friend that called me the other day, and she told me, I'm afraid I'm not productive at all and I cannot continue with my project. And I just told her, okay, tell me your routine. Well, I wake up, and I told her, when you wake up is the maximum amount of energy you have? And she told me, yeah, when I woke up, I have a lot of energy. And I told her, so what do you do? Well, I make laundry, I go shopping, I go that through the domestic things I have to do. And then when I get into my project, then I'm tired. And I was, well, that's it. Your when you have energy, you have to do the things that you need to use, mostly your brain and or your capacities. And when you are tired, you can get through operative stuff. I mean, if you need to make some calculus and it's just a formula, you don't have to put into that so much thought. You just do it when you don't have energy. So what I'm trying to tell you is, first identify when you have more energy: in the mornings, at the afternoons, at night. So when you have more energy, there is when you have to do the study, the critical thinking, the creative, the innovation, because you're more on. So when you start, what I'm trying to say is that energy is a limited resource. So when you have more energy, do the difficult stuff. When you have less energy, do the things that you can do automatically, that they're not difficult, but they need to be done. So let's move into leadership and proactivity. And here I'm going to give you an example about my job at the corporation in Peru. So um, COVID was really a surprise for everybody. And for having leadership, you don't need to have the title of leader, you know. When you are for leadership, you what you need to do is to have the attitude. So I'm going to tell you an experience of this. When COVID-19 came, and we were all sent to our home to work from there. We were talking a lot about how people couldn't manage their time, they couldn't socialize, and they were getting really sad about this situation. So I prepared an executive presentation to the vice president, um, with a proposal about making a program for helping people to manage their jobs from home. I mean, I didn't have any problem by managing my work by home, because I'm really lucky for having the best family, a great place to work. I have people to talk to. So I was managing it really well, but I could tell that not everybody was like that. So when I was I presented this, well, it was a proposal for making for giving all the companies tools in order to manage home office in the best way possible, so it can have information about how, because people, there were some people that were working and they have kids. So there were there was a topic about how to manage your kids and play with them while you're working at home. There was also a place on how which icebreakers can I use in my meetings, how can i how can I manage a meeting virtually, how can I over communicate. It was really a project to give people the tools they require to work by home. And it was there was a space that was working um, my at the hours I work, at the time I'm working, like preparing your physical space, preparing also the digital space, productivity, competences they need to develop in this digital era, which here we have the over communication, because it's really different face to face see the expressions while you are at home at the meeting. And it has a lot of content. And also it has another part that is when I am at home, where we deliver like games, what games they could play, which sports app they can download to the sports, how to develop also resilience, emotional intelligence. So it was all the tool, it was a home office toolkit literally. And this showed a lot of proactivity, because it was really something that came from my mind to do. I made an executive presentation, it was approved, and then I was the leader of this project. And what I did, and here you have the competence of networking and teamwork, is to gather a lot of colleagues to work into this project. So communications helped me to have a web page where we can show the information in a way that it was really easy and funny to read. And also a lot of people helped with the content, because this web page was launched like 3 days, so the people can be better, can feel better, will know how to behave in home by working by home. So a lot of people gather in and say, for example, what I'm doing is I like to play video games, and I have a lot of these computer games that people can entertain themselves. So they collaborate with this web page, we give them access, and they put all the content there. Also, another initiative was with the leaders, because there were some, we what we did was that we made a survey, a form, asking the leaders how were they feeling, or in which topics they needed help. So there were a lot of topics, like for example, how to manage a meeting with my team, how to make a follow-up with my team without making them feel controlled. So what we did with the team was a podcast. We did a podcast that was delivered only for the leaders. So so they can, because we figure out by knowing these people that it was better by a podcast in which they can listen to it anytime, because most of the leaders, they have kids, they need to cook, or they have some other activities. So it was a podcast they can listen in every moment, guiding them about how can they behave with their team in different ways, in communication, in how to give them feedback. And also there was like a podcast version, like a second deliver of the podcast, where we invited human resources leaders to participate in the podcast, so that the leaders can listen to other leaders, and they can really exchange these ideas, and they can be guided by this. So these two, and this was just an idea that really came in the COVID when it was COVID and we were all in quarantine. And this can prove like that leadership and proactivity, you can have it even if you are 20 or 21 years old, even if you're an intern. You can always make a presentation. You can talk to a leader. You can show your idea, and you can be the leader of that idea with that collaboration of your team. And and that's why this connects with the competence of emotional intelligence, connect with people, with teamwork, and with collaboration. Also, this competence is that flexibility is really important nowadays. And even if you know that the world moves so fast, that really is fragile, that we live in a chaotic world in which we don't know what's going to happen, you need to embrace change and you need to learn to play again. But how to do that? Because there are a lot of people that are very structured, like me, and that they need to have like every single thing planned, and you have really a planification, you do budgeting, and this can apply to every field, because you have a planning for the year. Everybody does. So how to be more flexible, how to embrace change, how to learn to play again. Because also myself, I have changed my role a lot of times. I have participated in projects that were not my role, but then you realize that your role is really to be versatile and to accept all the necessities, that all the needs that are coming up. So, in order to embrace change and learn to play again, you can go to new places, you can experiment, you can do things that you have never done before, because that will open your mind, that will let you see another world, and you will see that every single thing happens because of a reason. So this is a way to develop your flexibility, because you can be on a project and the next day they can tell you, hey, this project you have to change it because things has changed, and you are going to be like, what? But how? I was doing this. No, you have to accept that change is coming, and then just move on and make it quick, and just you move forward. So this is some ways in which you can enhance flexibility. Also, it's very important to innovate. So we listen this word a lot of times, innovation. But what does this means? I mean, it's not settling for good enough. I mean, some people say, but this is good, and and this works, and this has worked for a lot of times. So why do I have to change it? You need to handle discomfort, because when you are really okay with how things are going and you are really succeeding, you say, but this is okay. Also, well, there are a lot of critical creative thinking tools, design thinking, Scrum, a lot of methodologies. But let me give you an example of innovation and how this connects to the other competences. um, at my last job, we co-created new profiles. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that, in order to make a value proposition, what I mean, if you have a top talent in your corporation and you want to keep this top talent in your company, you need a good value proposition. But how to make a really good value proposition? You need to know the person. You need to know what's important to them. It's like nowadays, people classify others by saying, "Oh, he's Generation X. He's a baby boomer. He's really a millennial. So a millennial is A B C. A baby boomer is A B C." Now it doesn't work like that. Every person have like different needs. So let me give you an example. When I was in this corporation, what was important to me was flexibility, because I was working, I was studying. Also, my home was um, really far from the office. So I was looking for, okay, for development, yes, professional development, and flexibility, so I don't lose time in traffic, so I can get to study. I can get to really control my time, to really have uh, my own time management, and I was happy with that. But there were other people that were my same generation that were looking for other stuff. They were not looking for flexibility like me. They were looking for learning new topics, to participate in many different projects, because they didn't have a clear path. So they wanted to know what they want, and in order to know what they want, they need to participate in different projects. But there were other people like me that they were looking for independence, because they wanted, even though their families, they were good living with the family, they want to be independent, so they need to afford a new house. So as you can see, there are going to be different profiles, and they don't match which generation you belong. I mean, you can think about what's the person, okay, economic situation, yes, but you can think about what, in which stage is this person. Is this person looking forward to be independent? Is this person looking forward to more professional development? Is this person looking forward to have a family life? So it's like flexibility, but also he will need like some help in food, paying rent, or in gas, because they have a family. So you can analyze in which stage people is already, and make your own profiles. So going to the point, in innovation, what I did with a team was to really deliver new profiles of the company, depending on their preferences, and then we created these profiles, and these profiles were not generation X, generation Z, or baby boomers, or millennials, or nothing like that. We defined them. It's like we first did like a quantitative analysis. We made interviews, and then of course we make groups in base of what they were looking forward, what was important for them, what was their purpose. Because for example, if they give me help in food to me, I ate at home, so it was not really something that motivates me. For to me, motivation was flexibility and independence and development. So you can see that you can get different profiles, and this was really something that is considered innovation. And this is related to teamwork and networking, because in our team there were different profiles. There was a person that was really um, an expert in these innovative methodologies like Scrum, and he knew about how can we structure all this process, which method we can apply in order to get to these profiles. So you can see that the competences are all connected. And this was a really new way, because there are no profiles in this world that are that have been made with the criteria we used in order to get to a really value proposition that really adjusts the people you had and the top talents you want to retain in your company. So now we are going to digital literacy. In this incomprehensible world, we really need to develop some basic skills about like digital that are digital. Some people will say, I don't know anything about technology, I'm not good at this, I don't know really how to do this. But what you have to think is, how will this help me do a better job and achieve my personal and professional goals? um when I was a recruiter, really, I can't imagine myself now recruiting on an Excel. I mean, it was so different when I opened my mind to new technologies and see how this process can be done. So it's like, when you know about digital things, you have more value as a professional. Also, there is now, okay, it's the Excel era is it's good to use Excel, but it's not the only it's not the only program. For example, Power BI, there are more automate now. Like, what you have to do is have a lot of knowledge about digital, how to automate your work, or you can join the IT team, and they will guide you in the process. So you're not going to be alone in this process, but you need some basic skills in order to automate your process, in order to do your job better, in order to your time, give more of your time to the strategic job, not to the job that is really manual, that is really operative. You always have to look, how can I improve my job? How can I make time to more strategic stuff? So how can I add more value to this company? And for that, you have to reduce some job that can be done automatically by a machine. So you have to consider how technology is going to impact on your job. How is this going to impact on your workplace? And for this, you just have to develop some basic skills. And there are courses, subjects, free subjects in Coursera, in edX. There are a lot of digital approaches where you can learn this, and there are basic skills. Also, you have to go like beyond the basis. Now we have listened about AI, big data. You have to stay in the loop. I mean, now you are using Power BI, AI, big data to in order to do better our job and to add more value. It's like, if you keep yourself in the past, how are you planning to develop yourself? Companies are moving on really fast. And well, finally, we have like data literacy, and this is really important. We have if you don't have a way to make analysis, to make conclusions, how can you make an affirmation? How can you be sure about what you're saying about the impact of your role, of your job, if you don't have data? you always have you always need the KPIs in order to show the impact of your job. So for that, you need to work with data, but to access the appropriate data, you have to find meaning in your numbers. You need to interpret the numbers, but you can find online courses, you can find a data mentor. So you need to know to focus on the benefits on using data in your role. If you don't use data, how are you going to prove that your job is valuable and that you are having an impact? And I would like to end this presentation by reminding every one of you the purpose. You are here, you're in a job, or you have a profession because you have a purpose. The purpose is, well, this noble goal informs every choice that we make. You have to identify it, and suddenly you will find paths to fulfill it regardless of the landscapes that are around you. So, to say it in simple words, in order for you to develop these competences, you need to know why you are developing these competences. Okay, we are in a bunny world, we are in a chaotic world, but you also are going to have a role in this world. And this is the reason you get up every single day. And if you, in this world, you need resilience. And for having resilience, you need to have a purpose. And to having the strength to develop all these competences and not dying in the while you are trying to do it, you need to stand for a purpose. I read once in a book, if you have a why, you can bear anyhow. And what is an example of purpose? Because nowadays I ask a lot of people, what is your purpose? And they don't even know it, because they are just going like without thinking it. So I will share with all of you which is my purpose. I wake up every day looking forward to help to improve people's life quality. And to help to improve people's life quality, I need to graduate as a psychologist in order to be a psychotherapist. Also, I can help them throughout human resources, throughout this college counseling I am doing. But this is really the reason that gets me that, which I stand by every day. This is the reason why I am really I'm really interested in developing competences on being a better person, because I have a purpose that helps me is to stand up every single day. How can you will want to really manage this word if you don't have something to stand for? You have always to remind which is your purpose. And when you find really why you are standing up every morning, it doesn't matter what problem will appear, you will always be willing to face it and to develop yourself and to be a better person. And then this word will be a better word. Thank you.
Carla, thank you so
So if
much. Can you hear me? Thank you so much.
yes,
It was I was taking notes and I have a couple of questions, but we have a question here as well.
of
So
course.
let me just display the question. Um, what is the best tool for productivity, in your opinion?
Okay, the truth is that there are a lot of tools of productivity. It depends on how um how the person works and which tool fits you better. For example, there is an application that is the planner, online, where you can divide like a project by by the stages, and every stage you can assign like you can assign a task, and in the task you can assign digitally the deadline and also assign people to the project. But here, if you are talking about a productivity tool about a project, but for example, if you want to organize yourself and be productive, um, what I usually do is make a list of all the, like a to-do list, but then you assign an approximate time of them, then you assign the priorities about if it's urgent or unimportant, and then you make a map with all the schedule, and then you start like ordering it throughout the week, taking into account the time that you need to eat, to shower, to drive, and then so you should, you know what you are capable of doing every day, managing your energy. So you can do this like in an agenda, or you can do this using the Gmail or the Outlook calendar application that has a, like a to do, and you can drop this to do task into your calendar, so you can manage it digital too. But I don't know if I'm
You,
answering this question. But if you have another question about this, I'm happy to 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 reply it as well.
I think you do. Mentioning the your professor's advice before exam or when the exam starts, just to have these 15 minutes, uh, just thinking about it, not rushing it out, not starting right away, just thinking about it and making the plan, the strategy, or just having the whole picture is really relatable to your personal and professional life. Just to have 15 minutes and to plan the day with priorities. And as you mentioned, there are so many tools. But the most important thing is to make the time first and to understand that it is important. I have some questions as well while I was taking notes, and the first one is about empathy. I really recently I've been thinking about it. Empathy and emotional intelligence. So my question is, how much do you think it is innate? I mean, it comes by birth. It's a talent, and how much you can nurture it. So again, the paradigm nature versus nurture. So what are your thoughts on it?
Let me think. If, I want to be sure that I get the question. It's like if this is something that comes with us, or if we can develop it. That
Yes. Yes. What's
okay.
your opinion? What's the percentage? If it is a percentage, what do you think?
The truth is that emotional intelligence can totally be developed. I mean, um, when I started working at first, I was like 19 years old, and I really had few knowledge about how to connect with people. I mean, um, because I just didn't know about it. It was my first job, and I didn't know how to do it. I mean, I did it with my friends, I did it with my family, but in the job atmosphere, it was all so new to me. Um, so my boss was giving me tips, like, okay, so if this person comes and he says that he was really late because he had a problem, you can ask what was the problem. So this is interest for the other person. It's like not be involved in your job, so you can make the question. So this can be developed by everybody. I mean, they give you keys. If you see a person that has a problem, or his kid has a problem, or is not feeling good, you ask, hey, what happened, can I help you? Maybe you don't ask directly what happened, depending on what person is, but you can say, if you need any help, I'm here to help, I'm glad to help. And it's something that you can develop because maybe you didn't know at the moment. So there are very keys, there are a lot of keys to develop this. There are some people that, for example, they do their job and they listen while they're working because they're really busy, but you can tell them, hey, when someone talks to you, just turn and look at their face. um so these things, really, there are some clues that if a person starts behaving like that, he will acquire this knowledge. What happened to me here in Spain in class was that, um, when we have some classes that you need to be there and you have to sign a paper, one person told me, hey, I've noticed that when you pass the sheet of paper, you smile to the other person. And that's something that is really weird here. And I really like that. And I really felt that. I'm going to start doing that. I didn't know it. And he started doing that, and then conversations were coming around the class, because you look at the other person when you give the other the sheet of paper. It's as simple as that. It's just having more ideas about how to behave in order to be more empathetic, in order to connect.
Great. Okay. Well, the small things that everyone can do every day, right?
Yes.
So another question that I was thinking. By the way, you can ask Carla any questions you have. She has mapped out the most demanded competences with some examples from her experience. And speaking of experience, I have a question about critical thinking,
Of course.
and I really, from my point of view, it's really difficult and challenging to develop it. Let's say in your 20s, because you don't have so much experience, and in order to have critical thinking, you need to have certain data, as you mentioned, and certain experience. So my question is how to develop it when you are in your 20s to be a critical thinker and in the same time keep your curiosity going.
Well, what I did, because I started working at when I was 19 years old. First, I was as an assistant of the humanities faculty of my university, and my university was business. I mean, it was business focused. So, what I did with every job they gave me, the first question I said was, "What is the objective of this job? How it is connected with the department, with what the department has to do?" So, the first step is to understand why you are doing what you are doing. The second step is to believe, okay, you have a boss, you have a manager, but you also have a thinking on your own. So your manager can tell you, I need you to do this job because we are looking forward, for example, we are looking forward to attract um, more people to this subject. And I was, okay, but if the objective is to attract more people to the subject, maybe we can add this idea to the assignment. So it's the first step to critical thinking is to understand why are you doing what you are commanded to do if you are 20 years old. It's like, so why do I have to do this? What is the value of this? This is connected with what? Because I've also worked in I've also have working experience at the bank when I was doing an internship at the commercial department, and I did and my assignment one assignment was to do in Excel. I had to do like a control panel for a campaign, and I was like, okay, I get the idea. I know how to use Excel, how to manage Excel, and I had to do all this work, but I want to know, what is this for? So they explained me why was that project for, and I was like, oh, okay, but if this is for this, if this control panel is serving this, maybe we can divide it by products and by teams. So so what keeps you motivated is to know why you are doing that. What is the value of that? Because sometimes managers give you assignments without they tell you what, but they don't tell you why. So so it's just having the first of all asking, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of this? What is the value? And then you start just seeing the whole picture, and then you can say, okay, if we want to achieve A, we can do B, C, D, E, F, and then we can get to the solution. Also, you have a lot of resources at internet where you can get inspired, and you can think better. Every time you read, you are knowledge, you get more knowledge that you can apply. So that's also part of the critical thinking. Identify which is the problem, why are you doing that, which is all the data you have, and then you order it. It's like a puzzle. You have all the pieces,
What
and then
about
you get to join them.
what about if your boss says you don't have to know?
So you
What would you do?
what I do, I will talk to the colleagues. I will, because that job is not always for one person, it's for a team. So you go to another person with respect, of course. Excuse me, my name is, you present yourself. My name is Carla. I've been assigned this job, and I don't know if you have time to explain to me what is the whole project, so I can offer or add more value to it and help you, because I'm here to help. And I'm here not only to learn, but to add value and to help all of you. So I will just get to know all the team.
So you'll be proactive.
Yes, I'll be proactive. I will ask people from that team, because the manager, my boss, maybe he's so busy that he's like, okay, I only need this and that's it. So, so it's not his fault. I mean, if he's really really busy and can't manage so much things at the time, I mean, you have to read the person.
Yes, speaking of reading the person, you mentioned criteria for profiling, and that was quite interesting. So, what is the criteria that you used for profiling? Did you and did you build the value proposition based on it?
Yes,
I mean, you know that we're doing something similar. We are
yes.
profiling. We issue career profiles focusing on talent, strengths, personal mission, multiple types of intelligence, etc., etc. But passions, of course. But what were your criteria?
Well, in our cases, we were with people that were already working in the company. We used the criteria first, the part of the economic part, but not of the family, but also of the person, because we have to take into consideration that maybe you come from a family that have resources, but you want to be independent, so it's different. Um, you want to really buy an apartment from your own. It doesn't matter if your family is in a good situation or no, but now you're independent. So we take that criteria into account, and also the criteria of stage of life. Which is your stage of life? Are you discovering your passion? Do you want more professional development? Do you want flexibility? And also we took that was like that applied to everybody. And another criteria was, are you independent? Are you living with your parents? Do you have kids? So because if you're living with your parents, well, you the food is I mean the food is bought by your parents, that can be one option, one of the profiles. Like, okay, I live with my parents, I don't need to buy food because my parents are in charge of that. So that benefit on food is not really important to me. So I live with them, I don't need this food benefit, but I want to discover what is my passion. So I want to participate in different projects. That's what motivates me. But there are other people that they are parents and they have kids. So they would like flexibility. They would like really some support, maybe on gas, maybe on food, maybe on discounts on kids toys or kids activities. So that's how we start building the profiles, like your stage of life, the economic part, and also the motivation part about if flexibility, discovering, professional development, and all that. So we mixed all of it and make like which we get like 9 profiles.
9 profiles.
Yeah,
So these have been the 9 categories.
yeah, 9 categories for the
And based
company.
and based on these categories, you had a personal approach,
Yeah,
considering the value proposition, considering the benefits.
yeah, there was like 9 categories, and every category have one value proposition. But to get to this, we did a qualitative and quantitative analysis of all the
Okay.
people. Also, I saw a question in Spanish. There was at
Okay.
the,
Okay. 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 Okay.
it was up.
It's here.
Maybe I, or is there any other question? Sorry, Andre, did I answer? Did I fulfill
No, no, no.
the
Let's answer this question, and then I have another one. ¿Qué herramientas recomiendas para mantener la unión y aumentar la productividad en el equipo de trabajo?
Okay,
Okay.
to keep a team's
Let's translate it first.
okay,
The question. So basically, pieces of advice about keeping the productivity in within
and a
a
team
team.
united. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, how you keep a team united? First of all the team needs to know which is the purpose of the team, which is the team's purpose, because that's how you promote collaboration and not competition and not cooperation. They need to know what is the objective and what is the purpose of that team, which is the role everybody has, and why every person of the team is valuable. So the team also needs to be really, there must be clear roles, and there must be each one have, they need their own value in the team, and clear purpose, clear objective. So this is the way that you promote collaboration and not only cooperation. So the team also needs to know what, if they achieve, what are they going to achieve, and why is that so valuable for the company. And they need to understand that they need each other to get that goal. For example, in the profiles project, there was a person that was, as I said, he was in charge of the methodology, which methodology is the best to get to what we wanted to get. So that's why it was about collaboration. It's like we were working together for a common purpose. And we need you because you have these abilities, and we need you because you have these other abilities, and that's it. Keeping the productivity of the group, you need deadlines that are clear responsibilities, and you need also to have a plan, and to make it and to have like to make it, oh, I had this word and then it a follow up. You need to have like meetings and make a follow up weekly, so you can be more productive. If you leave a lot of time, a space, a big space of time to pass by, it's like they're going to lose. So you need a lot of communication and to follow up. It doesn't need to be an hour. It's like, okay, we have it all clear, let's meet 15 minutes today. So how are you doing with this? How are you doing with this? Okay, fine. So these are, we are going to agree on next week to have this done, and you have all the bullets, and you have all what you engage to do. So it's an agreement. It's a mutual agreement that you do in 15 minutes. You meet up 15 minutes. Okay, we have this is the agreement. We'll meet in 4 days, 5 days. Is that okay? Then we'll meet. That's productivity. Because if you leave 3 weeks, it's like maybe you're going to do it last minute. Maybe you're going to get disconnected because you are not face to face with the team. You're not interacting with the team. And when you do not interact, it's like there are no new ideas, or you don't get inspired.
Okay. Now I'm thinking about again the team productivity and these different profiles you mentioned. It's quite interesting because this means these 9 profiles, these 9 categories, when you create them and then build your value proposition based on them, and you encourage the individual to develop, are you able to do the follow-up? Are you able to, and one person, could one person do that for all of the people? Because it's individual approach, it's 9 different individual approaches. So how do you handle this?
So the project um, well, at the project we had these 9 profiles. So the idea and the value proposition too. So the idea was the next steps were to have this value proposition approved, and then every person of the company with a form will be you will be able to know which was their profile. So you just have to know which profile is every person, and if there was a new person at the company, they just fill this form and you will know the profile. So it was a matter of coordination. Well, first the approval and then the coordination, and then to adapt, to be flexible, to adapt all the systems at the company in order to make this work. So
Did the system work out?
it was really a long-term project.
Okay,
Yeah.
but did it work out at the end, or is it ongoing? Just I'm
Well,
curious about the project.
the truth is that I came to Spain when the project was when we delivered the profiles and we delivered the value proposition.
Okay.
But no, sorry, it came COVID when we delivered the profiles and the value proposition. So the priorities changed in that moment, and like the roles just changed, and we were devoted to other projects that were urgent at that time. But the company has that project with all the information on the table.
Okay, very interesting. Uh, well, I have one more question.
Yes.
You mentioned resilience. That if you start losing resilience during the journey, to go back to the purpose. Okay, but sometimes you could have, from my personal experience, you really believe in something, and I really believe in what we do with our team at Leader Academy. However, there are certain moments when the purpose is not so strong. And I mean, it is strong, but you're tired, you're exhausted, you start doubting, you start thinking of all of the things which could go wrong. So, how do you keep the resilience at these moments, in your opinion?
Well, the truth is that it is true that there are always going to be problems. I mean, first we have to accept that problems are going to be here every day. Well, not every day, but there are always going to be problems, and that's something that we have to accept. It's normal to have problems, to have obstacles, to doubt our own purpose, and to feel weak sometimes and say, "Was I doing? Was I right? Am I right about this?" We're going to have these moments, but what you need to do is produce these happiness hormones naturally, like, for example, connect with people, do sports, make journalism. Also, just sleep well, like just take a break, make your head clear. For example, if you have these sun clocks and you move them and you see all the sand through, you cannot see clear for that. You just have to do all these activities I say in order to the sun to come down so you can see clearer. And if you analyze it and you see that there is something that you have to change, you change it. You have the power to change it and transform it, because the world is changing and it's always going to change. And if you have a purpose, there are different ways to get to that purpose. Maybe it's not the purpose you're adopting, but it's the way you are getting into the way you are reaching the purpose.
Okay,
I don't know
great.
if I answer your question or
Well, you made me think about data and analyzing the data, thinking of all the emotional people. So you know that most of the companies, big companies, are aiming to get people emotional when they purchase something, right? Because emotional
yes.
decisions are very quick. Uh, so the question is, how could you go from to make the transition from this emotional decision, this mammoth part of the brain, to the rational part? And I was thinking, is it possible for everyone? Is it possible for some people that are much more emotional and are willing to act emotionally rather than practically and analyze the problem?
Okay, so can you repeat me the first question, please?
Well, it was more of a remark. How could you, when you want to act emotionally, because you mentioned the importance of analyzing the data and the problem, but
Yeah.
some people would, will not do that because they act emotionally. So my
Okay.
question was: is there a formula just to not to do it emotionally and just to retreat and think about it, reflect
Um.
on it?
Yeah. If I'm getting it right, it's good to think about it and reflect about it. But when you reflect, it's like when you're doing a research. You first do. You need first a qualitative research. So there you can have some data, you can have some emotions, and after that you do the quantitative uh, part where you transform the qualitative into the quantitative, because you can make scales. And if there are people that are emotional, they just and they need to show data, but their data, that's what you're referring, the emotional people that they need to show data and
Yes,
don't know how to do that.
yes,
So
yes. In a way,
if you,
yes,
if you're an emotional person and you don't know how to show data, maybe you can that's why networking, which is a competence, is really important. You go to the data expert of the company and you can explain to him what is your job and how you can do KPIs about them, because you can measure. There are a lot of things that you can measure in really different ways. But we are not experts in data, we are not experts in digital, we are not experts in analytics. So sometimes we will have to reach out to the experts to help us how to make this, how to transform this into data, because the real world nowadays demands you to show your results. So you can always transform something that is emotional to something that can be looked through the numbers. For example, if you can make a Likert scale. It's like how satisfied you are with this, how much um, from 1 to 10, how happy were you with ABC. So you can always have a way to show your work in data.
nice. You made me think about it. Nice. Well, Carla, thank you so much for dedicating the time and giving us such a insightful presentation. And just wanted to say that our Christmas initiative is with a focus on zero waste gifts. Our zero waste gift leader academies one is a career consultation. The first part with us, it's a gift for anyone who wants to explore more about himself, about his social circle. It's called Social Mirror. It's quite interesting getting the feedback from the people around you. And yeah, thank you so much, Carla. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Andre and Leader Academy, for this great opportunity. I'm happy to be here.
And I'm very happy to be your host, and thank you for the experience. And we will make sure that the presentation could be sent to all of the people that are interested in the most demanded competences, but hadn't had the chance to watch all of the presentation. So once again, thank you so much, and have a great evening. Have a great Friday and weekend.
Thank you so much. Same to you all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.